Okay, so we're doing 5.2, and we're going to talk about integers. So if we look, last week we talked about natural numbers. So if we have a child in the house and we teach them how to count numbers, we start with 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't start with 0. We don't start teaching a 4-year-old 0. We teach children 0 later. And we don't teach children like half, 3/4, or 1.75. So if we look, our natural numbers start at 1. They don't include 0. And they only have these nice numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have half and 4.5. Okay? Then we have the whole numbers. The whole numbers are exactly the same as the natural numbers, but they include 0. So you can see here, it includes 0. And an easy way to remember whole numbers has a 0 in it, well, an O, and it includes 0. So whole numbers are the same as the natural numbers, but include 0. Then we have all the positive numbers, mojib, all the negative numbers, shalib, and 0. And when we put all these numbers together, the positives, the negatives, and zeros, we get the integers. And still, integers are just the nice numbers, -1, -6. There's no -5.5, there's no fractions, there's no square roots in integers. It's just all pretty nice numbers. But then we have the set real numbers. And the real numbers include everything that we're going to talk about in this course. It includes all the numbers on the number line, and even numbers that you can't see. So here it would be 9.5. We also include pi, half, square root of 7, all these weird numbers. So whenever you have crazy numbers, you know you're looking at the real number set. But remember, the real number set includes everything, so it also includes all the nice numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like the natural numbers. It also includes all the negative numbers, like the integers. Okay, so let's go down and do some examples. So we have to choose a name for this set. So we have natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, and real numbers. So when I look at this, I go, oh, it includes 0, and it has negative numbers. And they're all nice numbers. There's nothing crazy like this. These are crazy numbers. So when I have negatives, positives, and zeros, it's integers. Okay? And then here's all these nice numbers that are positive with 0. And if there's a 0, I know it's the whole numbers. And here's some nice numbers that are all positive, but there's no 0 here, so I know it's how you teach children how to count. It's the natural way to teach children to count, so it's natural numbers. And all that's left is real numbers, and you can see all these crazy numbers here. They're just crazy. There's pi, half, decimals, fractions, square roots, so this is the real number set. Real numbers. Let's look at the next one. Same thing. So here I have negative numbers, I have 0 and positive numbers, but there's nothing really crazy. There's no fractions, there's no decimals, square roots, so I know it's an integer. These are all positive numbers except for the 0, and because it has the 0, I know it's a whole number. This is a whole number set. They're all whole numbers. They're all positive, nice numbers. There's no fractions, no decimals, no square roots, but there's no 0. So I know these are the numbers that I would teach a child on how to count. So these are called natural numbers. Okay, the last one, there's lots of crazy numbers in it. You can see a fraction, a decimal, a square root, pi, negative numbers. So we know that these are real numbers. The real number set. Okay, look at the next page. So these are examples. Okay, so it says the number belongs to which set. So if you look at all these numbers, you can say they're all real numbers because all the numbers in this course we're going to deal with are going to be real numbers, all right? But some of them are only natural numbers, the ones that we teach a child. 8. Oh, this one's a natural number. So you have to be careful that when you have square roots, you would go, oh, that's a crazy number. That's just real. But if we put it in our calculator, you can see that it's equal to 5. So we cross this out and we say, oh, that's 5. I would teach that to a child. So that's a natural number. So when we have fractions and when we have square roots, we need to put it in our calculator to see if we can make it even more simple. Okay, so always with square roots and fractions, make them more simple. So you can see this is a whole number also because it's positive. This one is only a whole number. It's not a natural number because we don't teach children 0 right away. Okay, integers, they're positive, negative, 0. Okay, so let's go down and do the examples. So negative 69, would you teach a child that? No, so it's not a natural number. Whole numbers are, natural numbers and whole numbers are only positive. Okay, and whole has a 0. Okay, so this is an integer, and all numbers we deal with in this course are real. Square root of 9, oh, that's a messy looking number, so I know it's real, but remember I said you have to check to see if we can simplify square roots. Oh, it's 3 times 3, so this is really just equal to 3, and so I don't see it as a square root. Would I teach a child that? Yes, so it's a natural number. It's also a whole number. It's a positive number, so it's also an integer. So this is all of those. It's in all those sets. This is a decimal. It's messy. Okay, when we have decimals, it's not any of these. It's only a real number. 7 over 10, let's check to see if I can make that more simple. Nope. So a fraction, none of these are fractions or decimals, so it's only a real number. 0, well, you don't teach a child 0, so it's not a natural number. Whole number has that little 0 in it, the O, so I know it's a whole number. Integers are all the positives, the negatives, and zeros, so 0 is an integer. And all numbers we talk about in this course are real numbers. 4. Would you teach a child 4? Yeah. So it's natural, whole, integer, and real. Here's a decimal. It's a messy number. These are never decimals, fractions. Okay, so this is only real. Negative 69. These are only positive numbers, or 0, so it can't be natural because you don't teach a child negative numbers. So it's an integer, because integers are negatives and positives and 0, and all numbers we deal with in this course are real numbers. 1, well, yeah, you teach a child 1, so that's natural. It's a whole number, integer, and real. A negative number, well, these are not negative numbers, so it starts with integer. So the integers are negative numbers, positive numbers, and 0. And all numbers in this course we're dealing with are real numbers. Okay.